Welcome back. All right. Tonight, it's funny. I did the two videos today, and then I've been trying to organize things in my room, and for everybody thinking so Shannon's probably been taking it easy today. Yeah. I've been looking through all my power rankings, the whole 16 weeks of it, and organizing them and coming up with different lists and stuff. So look for videos on that soon. Because I think it's time to talk about the fact that Tampa Bay, who looked good all year, tonight, this is the team that showed up. This is the Tampa Bay Lightning team we witnessed throughout the season. And for the Islanders, now they have to go home. They have to try to get that momentum back. And that raucous crowd in Nassau could very well play a role in that. We'll see. Tampa Bay's crowd a little bit noisier tonight than they were in the last game. So the Bolts were fast out of the gate, and I think that helped. The energy level from Tampa Bay tonight was excellent. Bolts pressed, the Islanders were blocking them out. First, my beard is better than yours breaks out at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. That's the only thing I can think they're fighting about, since all of them out there had all their beards going and all that. And then they're pairing off. Maroon wanted to fight Martin. We end up with a 4-on-4 coming out of that. Then we get 59 seconds of a 4-on-3. For the Bolts. During that, Kucherov was robbed. The Islanders would clear it out. Hedman fires one high. And then Maroon couldn't bury one. So the Islanders managed to kill it off. But Tampa Bay's power play had 5 shots. So lucky they killed that off. Lucky being Varlamov playing very well. Eberle with a fast break. He fires wide. But Braden Point gets on the board yet again from Kucherov and Savard at 8 minutes and 58 seconds. Nice top shelf goal. But it was a rough night for Pelech tonight. There was a giveaway by him in his own zone that led to this goal. So the Islanders then ended up getting a power play. Palmieri had a shot that was saved. Zajac had a tip that was saved. Palmieri was then robbed as well, as Vasilevsky was fantastic to start off this game. The Bolts did kill it off. There was some good back and forth action after that. Pajot's line presses. Pajot's had a good series. Varlamov then collided with Point. Pelech pushes Point into him. So the only logical solution here is to throw Point into the penalty box for goalie interference, although apparently the referee was saying it was a cross-check. They were trying to read lips when he's trying to explain it to Stamkos. Wasn't a cross-check. He was thrown into the goaltender by Pelech. I honestly, I have to say, I think that might be the worst call I've seen in the playoffs. It's right up there. So Sorokin, after the break, so they go to a commercial after that is announced. And when they come back from the commercial break, Sorokin's in net. So it may very well be that the concussion spotter said you got to go to the quiet room, or the Islanders themselves got proactive and said, all right. Either way, he was out for a bit. The referee said, referee said it was a cross-check by Point, and question marks again. So on the power play, there's a post for Palmieri, and then McDonough coughs it up in his own zone to Brock Nelson. Don't do that. Nelson buries the power play goal at 13:30, so of course it ends up in Tampa's net. And it felt like this could be a major shift in the momentum in favor of the Islanders, right? This gets them in the game. It's a tie game. So the crowd, rightfully not very happy. They were chanting, "Ref, you suck," at the time that the goal was scored, and continued chanting it after. You could see fans, they showed the replay of the Nelson goal, and you could see fans like, oh, and it was probably a combination of the giveaway in their own zone and the fact that it was a power play that I really don't see how that's a penalty. The Islanders then looked for a lead. There was more sticky pokey going on, and then they decided, okay, they've had enough of this. Let's have actual fights-ish. Maroon and Martin paired off. Cizikas and Colton squared off. I don't think Cizikas and Colton actually got penalties, so they gave the 5-minute majors to Maroon and Martin. The fights weren't great, though. I was surprised it was 5 minutes for Maroon and Martin, because there weren't very many shots that were actually landed there. I've seen roughing for less. Goudreau then had a shot that was saved by Sorokin. Green was stuck on the ice for 2 minutes, so they get stuck in their own zone, and then they end up icing the puck. So Green's stuck on the ice, they're pressing, and then they ice the puck, and that means he has to stay on the ice again. So it ended up being 3 minutes he was on the ice. He did eventually get off the ice when they cleared it, and took enough off the puck so it didn't actually go all the way to the other goal line. Stamkos with a fast break. It trickles wide. Bolts get a power play. Sorokin then denied Cirelli. And hey, another schmozzle takes place at this point. So a very schmozzle fest kind of first period between these teams. The Islanders were trying to bully the Bolts off their game, as I saw it. They were trying to use the physicality, punch here and a stick there and this kind of thing just to try to knock them off their game. And it was working at this stage. Last minute net drive by Cirelli, that saved, and you get some more sticky pokey between these teams at the horn. So we go to the second period. Varlamov is back to start the second. So whatever ailment he had or didn't have, and he ends up, going to the quiet room, he's back to start the second period. Beauvillier hits a post early. So remember, it's a tie game at this point. Could go either way. And the Islanders are showing signs of maybe thinking about stealing one here. Hedman had a shot that deflects out of play. The Islanders get a power play. It's a slash by Coleman. Coleman, it was a two-hander over the top. They're going to call that every time. You got to watch that. Short-handed break for Gord, though. Varlamov makes the save on that. The Bolts would kill it off. And after that, Palat was denied. 5-on-5. Bolts were starting to dump it in often. So, first game, it felt like they were trying to go through the Islanders. And in this game, just go around them. Dump it into in there, use your speed, get in on their defense. Some heavy forechecking going on by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Keep it at their end, forecheck, make their defense start coughing up the puck. And it was working as well. So there was a Barzal shot then saved as the Islanders press back. The shots were 5-4 for Tampa at the half. So they were a little bit ahead on the shot clock, right? The Islanders shot blocking. Bolts were trying the stretch passes. That's another thing they were doing tonight. As I call it, the home run pass, where you're trying to get that pass around and in the net, and your guys on the other side of center get it to them in the net, done. Breakaway. So Nelson causes a turnover. Bolts would clear it out, and what was interesting was it went from a good scoring opportunity for the Islanders into the Islanders' net for Tampa. The end-to-end Hedman pass there to Kucherov was fantastic, and then Kucherov. He takes his time. He finds Palat. Palat buries it at 13-15. And the interesting thing with that is, if you look at the replay, Tampa Bay had 6 players on the ice. So it's possible that the referee missed a call there, but there was a call in the first one. These things tend to even out in many cases during the game. The Islanders then tried to answer. Komarov was denied. Bolts pressed with 5.5 minutes left. Beauvillier had a chance that was defended. The Islanders' shots were being blocked. So this is where you start to see Tampa kind of playing the Islanders' game, where they're starting to block them out. They're starting to keep them to the outside, and it's fast. There's not a lot of whistles going on as well. Colton had a chance that was blocked. Point forces a Dobson turnover, and this is where that style of play seems very Islander-ish. Like Tampa Bay's like, okay, you want to play that way, we can play that way as well. And they did it very well tonight. Last minute, there's a press by the Islanders. The Bolts tried to keep it to the outside. Beauvillier was then robbed near the horn. So we go to the third period, it's 2-1. And so for Tampa, you've got 20 minutes, you just got to bring it home. And they did their best. They get the early chances. Varlamov saves a chance from Killorn. And then Ruda does something no Islander defenseman, or no Lightning defenseman had done. Islanders defenseman have done it plenty. No Lightning defenseman had got a goal in the playoffs. He scores from Gaudreau and Coleman at 2:16. Laser from the point, but also Josh Bailey screened it. So Varlamov didn't see it until the last moment. And then we get the 21 stick salute soon after. Everybody gets their sticks up and they get in each other's face like, oh yeah, you come here a minute. So that was going on. Gord then had a break. Varlamov makes the save there. The Bolts press. They draw a power play. The Islanders had to kill that power play. Could not allow one. Kucherov had a blast go wide, and the Islanders do kill it off. No shots against. No harm, no foul. It is 3-1. Not great, but as long as they don't allow another, right, they can get back into this. Barzal had a chance stopped. We get into some punchy time between these teams. I really think all the physical stuff, I think that favors the Islanders, but Tampa fought their way through it tonight, and they proved, and this is something that's been said of them all season, whatever style of hockey you choose to play, Tampa will beat you at it. It's what they've done all year. So we get another press by the Bolts, and that draws another power play. And so the Islanders get hemmed in their own zone on 2 occasions, and in both occasions it ends up being a power play for Tampa Bay. They score on this one. Hedman with his first of the playoffs from Kucherov and Stamkos at 9 minutes and 17 seconds. Good power play, mobile, keeps the puck moving around, keeps Varlamov moving around, make sure they can't, get that box going, and it worked. Tampa Bay playing the power play the way that they need to if they're going to get through this. And that one they had in the first with 5 shots was a good power play as well. So Hedman, Cirelli then had a break that was denied. Gord and Komarov had a tumble that led to them both going to the box. And the crowd appreciated this. This is one of those things where Leo Komarov has really been up in the grill of everybody on the Tampa Bay Lightning in this series. And so players are starting to kind of go back at him, which is expected, but still, it's one of those things that you like to see players doing that, as long as they're not ending up putting you shorthanded. And that's why Komarov does it. The idea that I'm gonna harass these guys and then they're gonna punch me in the head and we're gonna get the power play out of this, right? But 13 seconds later, Chernak takes a penalty, as all of a sudden this game's being called really tight. So it's 1 minute and 47 seconds of 4-on-3. Nelson couldn't bury one. Pulock had a chance to deflect wide. Bolts would clear it out, and they do kill it off. And then they go back to the power play. The Islanders killed that off. They only allowed 1 shot, but at this point we're down to 4 minutes left in the game. That's it. Barzal would score from Eberle and Leddy at 16:44, and then the announcer says the lead's cut in half, and I'm going, that's not how math works. Went from a 3-goal lead to a 2-goal lead. It's been cut by not a half. Nope. I knew what he was trying to do, but it's not by a third. Sure. By a half? No. So, yeah. Palat then nearly steals one from Pulock, and this is where right after that goal, you could see Varlamov is ready to come out. Varlamov is ready to, as soon as he can get out of the net, because there's not a lot of time left now. As soon as he can get out of the net, they're going to pull him. They're going to try to, get that 6-on-5 going as quickly as possible. Hedman ends up hitting the post 5-on-5. So the Islanders couldn't get Varlamov out until there was 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. So good pressure by the Tampa Bay Lightning doesn't allow them to get the goaltender out when they want him out for about a minute. And it's finally 6-on-5, but then the Islanders immediately go offside when they get the goalie pulled. They didn't put him back in because they need 2 goals, right? Eberle tips one wide in the final minute. The Bolts iced it with 33.1 seconds left. And at the horn, everybody in the ice decides, let's pair off and have some fun with our beard measuring contest we started in the first and arguing over who's got the best beard. And the hate is there. These teams really don't like each other. I really think this is because of last year. Last year's series was close. And I think Tampa Bay and the Islanders remember last year's series. There are some new faces on both teams, but generally these teams know each other pretty well. So Tampa Bay wins this one 4-2. They tie the series at 1. Now it goes to Nassau. They have to win 1 in New York. At least now they only have to win 1 instead of 2, right? The shots in this one were 17-10 Tampa Bay in the first, 8-7 Tampa Bay in the second. The Islanders outshot them 9-8 in the third. Final shots 33-26 for Tampa. Power plays, the Islanders go 1 for 4. Tampa Bay goes 1 for 5. 9 power plays in this game. And the other part, too, is that Nelson goal on the penalty that probably shouldn't have been a penalty, at least that doesn't result in this game going the other way. At least that's not the goal you look at and go, that's where the Islanders end up winning the game, is on that play, and it changed everything. So as controversial as that call was, it doesn't actually factor into the end, other than it's 4-2 instead of 4-1 in all likelihood, right? Hits 37-32 in favor of the Islanders. Block shots 16-8 for the Islanders. Varlamov saves 23 out of 27. Sorokin saved all 6 shots in relief. Barry Trotz in the playoffs has proven he is not scared to switch goalies. Would not be surprised to see Sorokin in Game 3. No fault to Varlamov in this, none at all. But I would be very surprised if he doesn't switch to Sorokin. Vasilevsky, 24 saves on 26 shots. Had a very solid night. And again, this game felt very different. I don't need to see all the advanced stats to know that Tampa Bay got rush chances tonight, unlike in Game 1. And that Tampa's overall game was better than it was in Game 1. So there you go. We have got a series. And tomorrow night we'll see whether or not Montreal can make a series out of it with Vegas, or if Vegas could potentially run up the scores and run everything up and is just waiting for the winner of this series in the final. We will see. Let me know your thoughts about this game in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.